Accent book, page 21. Alright guys, so on this page it says you have two new notes, even though we already know these, your low A and your low G. Alright, so nothing too new there. You will see every now and then still one of those shorter notes like we played on page 20 where you have the eighth note eighth rest. So just be aware of that, like in line 78, and you do have one in line 77 as well. Okay, alright, so let's start by looking at line 75. Key signature, there's nothing there, so remember for you that means that we're going to have naughty B naturals. Okay, alright, so here we go. We're playing a little lower here, so I know it's sometimes hard to read those ledger lines or those little lines below the staff, but they help you out a little bit by telling you where the first G and A are, so hopefully from there that'll help you know what notes those are. Okay, alright, so let's do some ledger lines reading down there. Here's 1, 2. Pretty low, and our right hand was doing all the work there. Alright, so now let's look at line 76. I really like this one because I think it's actually a lot like real clarinet or real band music that you'll see in a clarinet part. Look at your key signature. Now we have B flats happening, so remember flat 4, but then you also have some B naturals that are going to pop in there in measure 3. Okay, so you'll be going back and forth between B flats and Bs. Be aware of that, and it'll happen in music, so we have to know how to do that and read it and see it and make it happen. Alright, so again, let's first of all identify where those B flats are. We talked about measure 3 with the B naturals, so you'll see a B flat in measure 2, the A, B flat, C. Then measure 3, you can still use naughty B here because we're not going, remember, back and forth between B flat and B. That's when we would use that sliver fingering. So just use naughty B there in measure 3. And then in measure 5, that first note is back to B flat. So make sure you don't get, once you play B natural, you get stuck on it. We're going to go back to B flat there in measure 5. All right, let's try this one out. And 1 and 2 and ready. Alright, so be aware of those B's in that one for me. Okay, let's keep going. We'll look at line 77, Chester. This is a long one. It's 2 lines long, but it's really pretty. And it does a lot. We've got some of those low notes, like look at measures 1 through 4. Then it jumps up a little bit, okay? And then line 2 goes back down, so the first 4 measures of each line should look pretty familiar. And then we even have kind of a little mini scale there towards the end. Okay, so really pretty one. This is actually a piece that could be played with some other instruments that have different parts. So what you see here is the clarinet part. Kind of cool. Alright, so it starts on low G. Alright, here we go. And 1, 2. And the fermata there just so we could stay with the metronome. Okay, alright, now let's go to line 78. We are back to B flat, although I don't think we actually see one. Now sometimes kids ask the question, Well, why do they have the flat there if we're not going to play one? Well, if we were to play with some of our other instruments, this is in the key of concert, E flat, your F with one flat, like if we think to our scales. So if we wanted to be able to play the same notes as them, some of them would use that, okay? And so to play in the same key together, we need it there, okay? All right, so look at the roadmap for this one. We have a pickup note on beat 3. Then you play measures 1 and 2, take the first ending, go back to the beginning of full measure 1. Remember, we don't count that pickup note as a measure. And then you'll play measures 1 and 2, and then remember to jump to the second ending that second time, okay? All right, let's give it a try. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 1, breathe on 2, we play on 3. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 1. It's just kind of short, sweet. I like it. All right, now line 79 is super fun. You might have heard of chopsticks. It's sometimes that tune you hear people play on the piano. When you play the two parts together, it actually sounds what we call in music dissonant. The notes are close together, so they do sound a little clashy, but in this case, it's supposed to happen like that, okay? All right, so this one is also, we have a new tempo marking. Vivace there at the top is actually pretty fast, so I'm going to speed this one up to about 120 here if we want it to sound like the real thing. All right, so now be careful. I'm going to play line A first. If you'd like to switch and play line B, if you want to look ahead at that one, and then we can kind of play the duet together. But make sure that you don't get lost in the repeated notes in these lines. Like on line A, you've got 4 measures of those low G's in a row. Make sure you don't get lost. You might even want to think like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Kind of how we count like our multi-measure rests, except here you'll be playing. All right, so I'm going to play line A at 120. All right, here's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Switch and play line B if you'd like to try A with me. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Kind of a fun one. You can keep going and see how fast you can get it if you'd like. Test that articulation skill. And also down there at the bottom, if you'd like, you can go and fill in those note names for line 80. Might be a good review, just filling in those the fingerings there. Okay, see ya.